It's the kind of diving expedition that doesn't come around often on Lake Travis.
This is a once-in-a-million opportunity.
Or if what Robert Weiss says is true, ever for that matter.
People tend to drop their sunglasses, their wallets, their GoPro cameras, all sorts of personal items.
But today,
somebody described the other day as like finding a needle in a haystack.
That haystack, the lake, the needle. This, a plane that crashed on Saturday. Luckily, everyone on board survived.
We love diving on things like this that are unique, that are not in a place where they should normally be. We find things that are this big in the lake. This time we got to find something very, very big, a plane. Yeah, so it was very exciting.
Weiss and his Lake Travis scuba crew discovered the wreckage.
It's become almost an obsession to document the plane and also to get it out of here in a safe way.
The plane sunk in seconds, but took hours to get out.
First, you could see a red image under the surface of the water, and you knew that that was the plane. And then to see them lift it up, it was just out of context of where it should be.
But Weiss was looking for much bigger treasure hidden 35 feet below.
Getting that hat out of there was really, to me, like the Holy Grail.
It belonged to one of the plane's passengers.
The hat was what was really important to the grandfather. He's a cancer patient right now. He just survived a wreck. He's got a new grandson who's got a hat just like him. He wanted that photo of him and his grandson with the hat.
And now he'll get the chance to take it.
That was really interesting to be a part of that, know that we were able to help retrieve these items and get that plane out of here and be an instrumental part of the whole process.
Elizabeth Saab, Fox 7 News.
3, 2, 1.
The students are from aircraft design. We have a 2-semester class in which the students learn how to design, and then in the second semester they build, fly, and test their airplanes. We have 2 teams, Savior and Specific Statics, and they're competing to see who can do the best job of finding out of the GPS coordinates for some targets out there that represent rooftops.
They're going to identify the GPS location of that target, and then they'll loop back around and deliver a payload, whether it's a medic kit or a beacon or whatever.
We have permission to drop, Daniel. We're going to be dropping next go round.
They get scored based on how closely they determine what the real coordinates are and how close they deliver their emergency package.
Once we drop, we're going to have to request permission to land.
This is something that we kind of based off of the Wimberley floods that happened a year or 2 ago. I think it's something that is easy enough to use that people could be trained in it, so firefighters could be trained in how to use it. With these capabilities, we can help get to people that are in dire need faster.
There's nothing like the roar of a Blue Angels jet. Getting the chance to see the Blues perform an array of neat tricks is a draw many people simply can't resist.
I love airplanes. Airplanes are like my favorite thing in the world.
We're loving the fact that the Angels can come back to Pensacola. It's been so long, and the camaraderie of everybody and being able to salute our heroes.
When they do the crisscross, when they come at each other at opposite directions, and then they shift.
As the sun began to set and the Blue Angels returned to the flight line after their practice for this weekend show, Friday's homecoming air show began Act 2 with its civilian acts, beginning with biplanes, skydivers,
Dad Richard, who came out to watch the air show today,
a jet truck, and Team Aerodynamics.
Approaching at about 1,000 feet above the ground.
Finally, under a full moon, the air show closed with a fireworks display, both from the air and on the ground. Another air show kicks off Saturday morning aboard NAS Pensacola. Cavante Smalls, Channel 3 News.
It's the nightmare on 67th Street. Spiders have invaded the home of Lynn and Sean Mitchell.
This happens to be the neighbor who went out hearing some sound with her fly swatter, thinking she's going to get rid of whatever it is, and she ends up caught in the web.
Webs are everywhere. filled with spiders, both big and small.
This is where all the trick-or-treaters usually go on Halloween night. Unfortunately, they've all disappeared and we don't know what's happening to them.
The Mitchells started decorating their home about 10 years ago. Back then, it was just a small cemetery.
We love Halloween. We got married on Halloween. When we were kids, Halloween was pretty big. Everyone in the neighborhood got dressed up and went around. But when we moved here 24 years ago, there was like 3 or 4 trick-or-treaters at Halloween. We're like, what happened to Halloween?
Now the community looks forward to their display each year.
Now we have at least 1,000 people, and it's growing every year. So we decided the Halloween spirit is definitely still existing in Pensacola, Florida.
The Mitchells even write books about how to haunt your house. ABC contacted them, and they were immediately on board. It took them about a month to get the house ready. They had to hand cut each web.
We do it at night, do it early in the morning, midday we'd work on the props on the inside.
You won't believe this, but pretty much 99% of all this has been a do-it-yourself project. For example, look at this tree. It's made of PVC pipe and spray foam.
Just about all of their materials can be found at a dollar store.
So we made these using beach balls, black trash bags, and this great hair, which is actually planter liners that we have shredded and hot glued onto there. And it holds up really well in the weather.
One of the easiest things to make is the spider webbing. It's beef netting, same thing that they wrap meat up in whenever they're going to smoke it. You just take it, you cut holes into it, you stretch it, and it looks like giant spider webs.
Their favorite part of the whole display is Granny. She's an interactive character voiced by Sean, who tells the trick-or-treaters the story of how a toxic spill in the cemetery brought in all the spiders.
They enjoy playing with the spiders and getting the interaction with the Granny, which is an older lady that's in the cemetery. They like to joke with her and play with her.
They invite the public to come out every weekend in October. On the day of the big unveiling for ABC, neighbors came out dressed in their Halloween best. Judges Michael Maloney and Sabrina Soto walked through, looking at every detail.
One reason I really like this house is that it doesn't really scare you, and it's good for kids and it's good for families. I'm not a big fan of the haunts that really scare the living daylights out of you.
The Mitchells say if they win, they will spend the money on a new playground for their 3 foster children. In Pensacola, Christina Leavenworth, Channel 3 News.
Let's go! Let's go!
Their message is very clear.
Not my president! Not my president!
Donald Trump is not their president, and hundreds of UT students went on a mission to let everyone know.
We want people to know that he's not our president. He's not our pick. He doesn't speak for our country. He doesn't speak for us. This isn't who we are.
They say they don't agree with the outcome of the election, and that's why they started a rally on the campus around 11 in the morning with a few hundred people. When they decided to take their message to the streets of Austin, more people started to walk with them.
We got bigger as we went downtown. People joined us. This was a real testament to the people of the city.
Making their way miles and miles through downtown, shutting down roads and chanting, protesters say it was not a pro-Hillary movement, it was about who Americans picked for the next president.
Someone that ran an entire campaign based on bigotry, xenophobia, and misogyny, perpetuating this patriarchal society that we live in, right? And he won using that campaign, and that's strange to us, that hurts us, because even if had he lost, for him to get 50 million votes, 50 million people that agree with him in this country, it's scary in itself.
Many were waving handmade signs calling Trump a racist, and their chants made plays on his unwanted advances toward women.
We've been taught all our lives, don't be a bully, don't be mean to people just because of something, and now he's the leader of the free world? There's something wrong with that, and we want people to know that he's not our president.
Even some local politicians joined in on the protest.
I'm calling for resistance from our city, from people in our city, and also from our city government, because it's up to us to protect our families. Donald Trump's not going to bring solutions. We will.
City Council member Greg Casar says he thinks this is the beginning of many protests and strikes.
There were a lot of politicians, including Donald Trump, that were calling for healing, but that healing is not going to come to families in Austin that are scared of being torn apart, or families that rely on having a progressive, thoughtful government.
Some protesters left their messages on the streets by spray painting profanity against Trump on sidewalks, but most were about people just hearing their words.
It's about surviving. It's about pushing through and having this opportunity to stand as a people. It's a very trying time for a lot of people in our country having a new president-elect, and this is really solidarity. That's what the first thing it is, letting you guys know that we're together in this. This is one fight.